And ORAT goes by many different things. Basically, it's the ability for a group of people to be able to operate a new facility or a substantially changed facility properly from day one.
So how does it all come together? When we're running a trials program, we start with small trials, what we call basic trials. Basic trials usually just test one element of either a departure process or an arrival process, utilizing sometimes only just one or two stakeholders. And we run a number of those basic trials, and then at some point we get to what we call an advanced trial, where we'll take a couple of those basic trials, put them together, and run an advanced trial. So now we're not just focusing on one element of the process, we're focusing on multiple elements, and that usually involves multiple stakeholders. So if you will, we start with little small chunks, we add to it, and then by the end, we run what we call an integrated trial, which is an end-to-end, advanced, fully integrated trial that involves multiple stakeholders, usually a large number of passengers, and we're able to simulate, in this case, a departure process or an arrival process for an airport, in being able to simulate what an opening day is going to be like ahead of opening day.
The first thing I started working on in LAX for the Tibet West Gates is basically the on-air training, by involving the stakeholders and work with them through work groups to identify their training requirements for the systems, for the equipments that they operate and maintain in this facility. The second portion is the familiarization, have them familiarized with the facility and introduce them to the new project. And the third item, or the third piece of this program, is the induction. Induction is a wrap-up of all, so it includes the general familiarization of the facility, it includes the systems training, and it also includes the SOPs, or the processes that are developed for this facility, and everything is tailored to the stakeholders' operational function in this project.
Operational readiness is truly greater than the sum of its parts. You can have familiarization, you can have induction, you can have training, you can have activation, but operational readiness is a bottom-up approach to the successful operation, maintenance, and the success of your airport when it comes to these gigantic projects. You spent billions of dollars building a building. You want to put your best foot forward and allow for your people to be trained to understand what it is they do. It really bridges the gap between static construction and a fully functioning operating facility.
What we've seen in the past is that airports open, and on day one, catastrophe happens. And the reason catastrophe happens is the employees didn't know how to get to their place of work. Certain systems hadn't been tested sufficiently. What ORAT does is we engage the stakeholders, come out and practice what they do in their everyday job, but they do it in a new facility that, just because it was tested from a commissioning perspective, doesn't mean that the end user, and when I say end user, the stakeholder, we have to ensure that their staff know how to use the equipment. They may know how to do their day-to-day job in the current terminal they're in, but when we bring them to a new environment where left is not left anymore and right somewhere different and passenger flow is different, they need to be able to understand how their operation is going to work in that new facility. They need to make sure they test their systems ahead of opening day, so that anything that we find that doesn't work, we have the time to correct it before we go live.
I think in the Middle East, they rely more on ORAT, on their development programs, and incorporate it for their projects, more than the US. In my opinion, there are a lot of opportunities here in the US to incorporate ORAT in all the development programs and projects, not only airports, but all other projects.
Because of exercises we did today, I am confident that LAX will be ready when we open the doors for the public.